Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, here we go. Oh, heard you, Marina. Cool. Anybody else want to give me a test? 1, 2, 3.
Morning.
Good
Testing.
morning. Hi. Oh, see your face. Look at that. Hello. How nice. Who's that little voice? I heard that.
Hey, testing.
Oh, look who it is. Oh, good morning. Hi. Mickey, Gustavo, Alexi, Sam, Becca, Sophia. Thanks for being here. I know you get a lot happening today. Everybody does, whether you're in a salon, on the way to a salon, or getting ready for the day. So we're going to go through these kind of in a bulleted fashion quicker than we normally do because of what the day is. I posted the results in this channel. Could somebody read the results of last week? And that will be, let me see if I can do this here.
So for Bonita, we had 77% pre-book, and retail per guest was $8.20. Service per guest was $1.70, 1.7.
1.7, right? It's just the number of services that each guest has. So they almost have 2 services for each guest that comes in is what that one is.
Okay, awesome. So the percent of guests with take home, it was 12%. Gift card dollar amount in sales was 23,000. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm reading all. 4,700 for prom. 8 guests purchased VIP, which was 5% of guest VIP. And number of guests with take home was 27. And a total guest was 154 for prom. And at the Village, we had 67% pre-book, $3.30 in retail per guest, 1.6 services per guest, which is 8% of guests with take home, and gift cards sold was 6,125, which was 6 VIPs, and that is 3% of our guests got the VIP, and the number of guests with take home for the Village was 17, with a total of 204. Okay. So for Bayfront, we had 62% pre-book, $4 retail per guest, 1.7 services per guest, 10% of the guests would take home, and $12,825 sold in VIP. Number of purchase in VIP was 14, which is awesome. 7% of guest VIP, and 21 guests would take home with a total of 202.
Awesome. Thank you. For those of you that don't know, these are the score. This is the score or the results of the performance. So this is the performance of the 6 step. It determines what our future is going to be like. So whatever these numbers are, they are very good indicators of salon retention, of guest retention, or guest happiness. So they will tell us what course we're on or what's going to happen in the future. They're indicators of what's going to happen in the future. So there's a standard that we know, there's a mark which we call effective or victorious, or we know when that it reaches a particular number or higher that we have a better chance of keeping the guests. So for pre-book, that number is 70%. So we know that when we hit that 70 mark or higher, we know that in 6 weeks, 4 weeks, we're going to have a pretty solid appointment book. We're not going to have a lot of people calling in because 70% of the guests who came in that day or that week have a future appointment, which is already in the cycle. We also know that we have an 80% greater chance of keeping a guest, retaining a guest when they leave with a product. So not only do we have to have their hair be amazing, but we know that when they're using our products at home, we have an 80% better chance of them coming back, staying with our family and staying with our company. So that's why those numbers are important. That's why we measure them. That's why we offer them. That's why we make it a part of the practices to implement all the time and ongoing. We know that we have a great product, and if that product is used in their showers at home and they're looking at that every single day and using that, it's a part of them being connected to our brand, to our culture. They can't buy our stuff anywhere else but through us. So it connects them to us in one more way. So that's why that's a measure. That's not just a by the way or an accidental thing. That's actually a part of the whole process. And then services per guest are the number of services that we do on each guest. So the more services that we do on each guest, the higher the likelihood is that they will stay with us. So 1.7 is that magic number. Now there's other numbers on here. It says percentage of guests with take home. That's the total number of guests that we did and what number of them actually walked out with a product. So you can see that's something we've never shown on here before, but you can see that if we had 560 guests last week and 28 of them left with a product. So that's bad news, but it's also good news because it's really, really low if you look at it statistically, that because we know that 560 people shampoo their hair. Well, we hope they do anyway. So the good news is that there are so many more opportunities for people to use our products. And last week, there was a lot of people who didn't have that option. And a lot of times it's not because wasn't sold to them. In most cases, it just was never offered to them. It was never given to them as an option or a choice, because if they have given a choice and an option, at a minimum of, if we were to ask every single guest, share with them what it is that we're using, why we're using it, and give them an option to purchase it. That's the shampoo, the conditioner, the styling aid. That at least 1 out of 4 of those guests would purchase a product. So that statistically is, so they're just not being offered it. So that's the good news and the bad news. But the good news is, there's a huge upside and a huge opportunity for that. Also have new products coming in this week too. So that will be definitely a boost or a bump for everybody. All right, Mickey, thank you for reading those off for us, and congratulations to Promenade with 77%, $8 retail per guest, and 1.7 services per guest too. Well done, and well done on VIPs last week for Bayfront. Okay, any questions about that? All right. Well, I'm going to move on to the next. So for whoever's not on the call, so I see Eliza's not on the call, Robert's not on the call, and I think we have everybody else. So unless we lost somebody. Oh, there's Charlie. Oh, Robert is on the call. I got you. Okay. And iPhone. I don't know who that is. Maybe that's Lexi. Okay. It looks like we do have everybody on the call. Great. All right. So the results of last week we just read, if you could see this here. So I want to know how you're confirming. So this was a big deal when we talked last week, how you are confirming the services on the book are correct before the guest checks out. So what is the process? What have you been doing since we had this conversation last week? What are the steps?
So during the processing time, I just go back and I check with the stylist, like, hey, what did we do? Are we still doing a haircut? Is it just a blow dry? Most of them, honestly, at the Promenade, will come and tell you anyway the moment they change something, because they don't want to have to change it themselves in the book. So that's been relatively easy for me.
Yeah. Okay. So actually checking in with the guest and or the stylist in between to confirm that it's correct. Christy mentioned something last week at the Promenade, which I thought I wanted to run this by all of you, that on the book, there's a way to indicate that little color that you can indicate. Can everybody hear okay?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's not muted, and sounds like they're talking about an appointment, which is good.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. There is a thing. I got your note, Eliza. You're on the call. I see that. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's the little color markings. I don't know if I can even show it here, where there's a little drop down and you can put a color on the appointment. Christy's suggestion was that if the services are confirmed, that what's in the computer is right, that color just be changed. It's a real simple thing to do. So then you know beforehand that the services were checked, verified, whether it's with an associate, whether it's with the stylist or not. So if I can pull that up while we're on the call, I'll do that. But anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the same thing that you're using to mark the online booking ones with the pink, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that's a way, a suggested way to confirm that, hey, it's already been done, so that if you don't go back to see them. Now, I don't want you to check somebody out if you have not confirmed with the stylist. Don't guess on the computer what you think they got because it's in the computer, because that's often the case. It's not accurate, correct, or right, because they've either added something, taken something away. And the problem is with the system is that you go ring them out, or ring the wrong person out, it ends up being more of a hassle than by just simply taking that moment. And here's the thing that's critical. So the questions you want to find out, because I'm telling you, this is going to be like training them and having them get in this game, because they're going to get theirs too. So it's not just you. But when you continually are asking them, what did you do? What services did you do? Could you please confirm them? What products are you recommending? And if there's no future appointment, when would you like to see them again? And what's the time frame for that? There are a lot of people not bothering with steps 4, 5, and 6 of the 6 steps of service. Your role is to initiate that with them right now. So it's not just to get that number, but actually steps 4, 5, and 6. As you can see, when only 65 people out of 560 people took our products home, or less than 70% have a future appointment, there are steps of the 6 steps of service that are missing. So it's real simple. You excuse yourself from the guest. Excuse me, I'm going to go confirm something. You find out from the stylist, what services were done. Is this confirmed? Are these services correct? What products are being recommended? And that's the associate's role too. And we have enough associates now that they should be participating in this as well. And your role staying on them and with them to make sure that they're participating in this, so that the products are up front. So it's real simple for you to say, would you like to take this? She recommended these products to you. Would you like to purchase these today? It's that simple. It's just an offering. And then the same thing with the future appointment. So those steps. And if you want to use that little green button, and I can't demonstrate it for you at the moment, but that's one of the suggestions. And if some of you start to practice with that this week, let me know about it. I'll see how that, if that becomes something we implement and put in, so that we know that things are confirmed. You've got the products there. There's also a way to put in the actual products that are suggested in the client file, so that they're already in the system. And it says these products were suggested, not purchased, but suggested. But we're not going to use that right now. It's just something if you want to play around with, you have that there. Any questions about how this is working, how it's not working? What questions do you have about it? Are you clear about this?
I do have one question. For the color thing, doesn't that stay there the whole time though? So when they come in for their next appointment, won't the green still be green? So then you just make the assumption that it's a confirmed service?
It stays with that current appointment. So it doesn't stay.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't stay with the guest. It's only for that particular appointment. Good
Oh, okay.
question, though.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a client specific one. It's just a appointment specific.
Okay, awesome.
Everybody else clear about that? Any yeah, buts, what ifs, questions? Okay, I'll take the silence as a yes. You got it.
Sorry, I was on the phone.
Oh, no problem. I know you're clear about it. You just told us how to
Yes.
do it, so I know about that. Okay, next item, which is listed as number 2 on there, and if you could see that, booking new guests. How do you mark that it is a new guest? When you have a new guest that's a walk-in or a call-in, what are the indicators that tell us that it's a new guest? This is sort of an inquiry, not a right. There's no right answer at the moment. Sorry, say that again.
The new client you should be booking the new client services. So that's a first pretty big indicator.
Okay, so the new client services. Now, the issue with that is that some services we don't have for new. Is that correct? Do we have a new service for everybody? For every service?
I guess not. There's not like, a new client blow dry or anything. So
I've been adding the welcome new ROP guest tag to
Mhm.
their appointments.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right. So I guess for now, because once the system gets caught up with all the new guests, because right now it sees our existing guests as new guests. So on all the
Mhm.
reports, it'll say, we had, 19 new guests today, but really they're not new. They're new to the boulevard. So it lists it like that. But once the system gets caught up, even though the guest is already in the computer, it still lists them as a new guest, but it doesn't, you can't tell that from just looking at the actual appointment. So by putting a tag, which will be what we'll use for right now, that says this guest is new, or I don't even know what it says, welcome, right? Yeah. Welcome the new guest. So you want to use that as the indicator for going forward for the moment. So if you get somebody that walks in, they're brand new, you put that tag on there. And if you find a service that doesn't fit, I guess you just brought up blow dry or whatever other services don't fit, we'll have to see a workaround for that, how we deal with that, whether it's creating a new service so that it's an indicator too that helps us know who the new guests are. You also want to put a note or make a note of it. You'll see down at the bottom here, it says new guest welcome and tours. So more on that later, but those of you that are in the salons and working with new guests, that's something that is going to be what you're working on this week. And we'll have discussions about that, but that has not been put in, and I've seen it not be put in. It's not been a part of it because of what is happening right now. It's sort of dropped by the wayside. So there's a process that we want to make sure stays in place, and that is the welcoming process for a new guest. Like a new guest in your family or in your home for the first time there, it's a really big deal. So I'm not going to go into that a lot right now, but I just want to tease it a little bit to let you know that that's going to be put back in and something you should be working on this week, or have discussions about your mentor or whoever you're working with to hone your skills on that. Item number 3, no shows. So this came up yesterday. How are no shows being entered in the system now? There are a
So
couple
there is an
different
option
ways.
when you pull up, like we had a no show yesterday. You click the cancellation button on the appointment, and one of the options is no shows. I think the biggest thing yesterday was that a lot of the stylists don't realize it marks them as a no show, but it also does remove them from the book. Um, so the way I always do it at the promenade is if someone calls or obviously doesn't show up, if they call and there's not time to fill that slot, so it's only, half an hour or 15 minutes or a minute or after, they are marked as a no-show. If I have, if they call the day before, that's time enough where I could theoretically, go through the cancellation list and get someone in. And if there is a cancellation list for that day, I still try to call them and be like, if you want someone canceled right now, but if it's without a reasonable amount of time, it is a no-show, at least as far as the promenade goes.
Yeah. So we haven't defined or distinguished. I think there's another one on there called same same day no show. There's a couple different or same day cancel or late cancellation is what it's called. And then there's straight up no show. So there's several different categories. But the reason why we want to use those at the point of that is it tracks the number of people that do that. We haven't implemented it yet, but there will be a time soon where we have a charge for blatant no-shows, for repeat offenders who repeatedly late cancel. And a late cancel is like the same day within a couple hours, there are circumstances that happen. We totally get that. And we will have the opportunity to evaluate each one. But what we're talking about is the people who just abuse the time. And there are a certain group of people that do that cost us a lot of money. They just have no respect for the value of time and our time and our stylist time, especially this time of year. So it's I think initially the way we discussed doing this was to put a tag versus to mark them as a no-show. So we're not doing the tag anymore for the no-shows because the tag does nothing. All that does is put that it doesn't record it anywhere. It just shows that, like any other tag, like it's a new guest or something like it would actually stay with them forever, but it would just say one. If we put it in as a no-show, it will stay with them indefinitely. It shows permanently in their record. But also, if a stylist needs to see the cancellation list, it's so easy to look at the cancellation list. There's a drop down in the computer and everybody can see it, who canceled, when they canceled, and why they canceled. So just so that everybody's clear, want to make sure that when there is a same day cancellation, mark it as such, or a no-show, mark it as such. They're all in the same category of canceled. They're just a matter of which one you choose, whether you choose no-show, late cancellation, or just cancellation. Now, this leads me to the next one item on here, and that is on every cancellation, put some kind of note in there, even though you've put the broad category, whether it says client canceled, staff canceled, it was a mistake, or whatever it was. Put a note. Called, car broke down. Doesn't need the service because they just had color, whatever it is. Whatever they tell you, put that information in that cancellation. So for every cancellation, put 1 or 2, 3 words, whatever it takes, so that whoever reads that knows what the situation was. The more communication, the better. So it's critical on those 2 items to put that there, especially as we start to go back through cancellation lists and follow up with those people who have not rebooked. If we've got a reason there, they moved, someone passed in their family, someone's sick, whatever, we know what's happening when we contact them, or when we follow up with them in the future, or when the stylist sees that too. So make sure always that there's some note in there indicating what it was. So any other questions about no-shows or cancellations?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. This is a quick one. How do you indicate if it's a request guest?
If they've seen the stylist before, it does it automatically.
With the little heart next to their name.
Yeah, the heart.
Yeah,
So
click
you
the
want to make
heart.
sure you put that little heart in there. And that's not being done by everyone. So you want to make sure that when they ask for and here's the reason why, for a couple of reasons. One is we do want to know who's being requested and who's not, if we ever have to move an appointment. But also on rebooking, it makes it real simple because it pulls their name up automatically. Once that heart's put in there, it will stay with them as the requested stylist. So if you're not doing that, you want to make sure you do that. That's real simple. Where does that show up on the line? It's like after the service name when you're putting an appointment in?
When you click the staff's name, you click it and then there's the heart. Oh, if you have to click it.
So you put the service in, what service they're getting done on an appointment, then the staff name. And when you put the staff name in, then there's the hearts right next to that. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you have to hit their name and then hit the staff's name and then make sure the heart is hit by hitting the staff.
And it turns
it's
red
hard
when
to
you do anyway, right? Anybody
Yes.
not know where that is? If you're not clear about that, you check it out when we get off the call, so that you're making sure that the heart is hit on each one. It's just something that matters in the going forward in the future because it makes it a lot easier for everybody. Okay, a couple more quick bullets here. So what right now is your interpretation of what Experience Day is? Because it's evolved and it keeps changing. So what is Experience Day, as we call it? No right answer.
Experience Day is a floor day for our lower level stylists to work on expanding their book and expanding their skills.
Yeah. So at one time there was, we would do free or heavily discounted services on those days. Right now, that's not the case. Instead, So you'll get people that call up right now or that contact us right now that say, hey, I want to come in on that day where the price, where everything's cheaper or free or whatever it was, because we did a lot of different versions of it. So the way it has evolved is right now, our whole level of people, our bronze and silver levels, their prices now are always lower. The difference about Experience Day is so the prices essentially already are discounted. They're 25% or more less than the classic level. The difference with Experience Day is that there are mentor stylists there with our silver and bronze stylists, working with them on their techniques and getting certified in other techniques. So when you get people that ask for, oh, I want that free or whatever that is, explaining to them that this Experience Day now is, hey, these prices are really competitive with a lot of other mid-level salons, even lower level. I wouldn't want to use that terminology, but the prices are already at a great deal. So that's the difference at the moment. As it evolves again, we might not even call it Experience Day anymore because they're all experienced, and to call it Experience Day is kind of again saying that, oh, they're not there yet. So we'll keep working on how we label that, call it whatever. What about hero haircuts? Hero haircuts are done on Experience Days with the Experience Day stylist. So what happened in the past, just so you're aware, is they would get attached to a particular stylist on Experience Day and then just let them stay with that stylist beyond their time in the Experience Day bubble, and ended up doing heroes on any day during regular business times for free. So we can't afford to do that. We can't afford to give them the haircuts that we do for no charge on the Experience Day with a silver or bronze level stylist. So so you're aware of that. So when they rebook, when a hero rebooks, just communicating to them that, hey, the next Experience Day at this location is whatever that is. You'll have to look in the book for that. Or if they want to go to one of the other locations. So I know most of you know these things, but as things evolve, and we have, a large group of newer people here too. So making sure that everybody's aware of those little intricacies there too. Any questions about heroes or Experience Day? All right.
Yes, I have
Go
a quick
ahead.
question. So for this is for bronze and silver stylists, but what about like the newbies that are doing classes? If they need models, should we have like a little category of people that want to model for those free services? Or
Well, like you put in there the other day, we'll probably have a database for people who want to be models. We'll probably just, that's a good way to do it now for the moment, is just put in there, hey,
Okay.
this person wants whoever needs to do a particular haircut, she'll be a model for it. That's fine for now.
Okay,
Keep
perfect.
Keep it a list like that. Sure. It's good what you
Okay.
did. Any other questions? Yeah, buts, maybes. All right. I will let you all go in just a moment. So you got new products coming out this week. Some of them just arrived. We'll talk more about that. Being intentional about confirming every single guest, super important, super important. Don't guess. Stop in the moment, leave the space at the front, go back if the guest is there and you haven't found out. Very, very important. Also in finding out what products were used and what the next visit's going to be. So thank you for being intentional about that. I do expect you to do some investigating on what a new guest tour is and a welcome, how it works. Feel free to start that because we're going to be doing some work on that, and I'll be checking in with you about how that works. Also on how you offer guest drinks. I know it sounds like a no-brainer, but there's a way to offer a guest something so that it sounds tantalizing, delicious, and special, because it is, than just in saying, do you want something to drink? There's a big difference between that and, would Would you like a fresh cappuccino, a Prosecco to celebrate the day, a Pinot Grigio? A little bit different than do you want something to drink? So be thinking about that. We're going to be doing some work on that. And the new guest welcome and tours, super important. All right. Final parting, yeah, buts, what ifs? Anybody have any questions, thoughts, concerns, or anything burning and yearning on their mind that they have to get out? Marina, welcome back. Robert, get ready for yours. Everybody else, thanks for busting your butts. It's that time of year. It doesn't happen for very long. This is our window to make it happen. So thank you for going the extra mile, adjusting your lives and your schedules to make it work, for being on this call, for being in the salons and ready to go and doing everything you have to do to make this fancy orchestra work. You're a big part of it, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Have an amazing day.
Thank you. Have a great day,
Thank
everybody.
you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.